Let that go. I know we had people wanting to hop on. Okay. Okay, so how long you been an agent then? 2 years. Okay. Bryce, I know you pretty well, my love. So what about is your production, Bryce, sitting up? Okay, so how long you been an agent? Ooh. 2 years. Okay. Bryce, I know you pretty well, my love. So what about is your production, Bryce?
Prior to this, probably got 4 houses here, 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about you? Okay. What are you doing to pay the bills?
For the mobile crisis business.
Oh, love it. So you speak to people,
Yes.
literally, like you're speaking to, through, with all the things. Okay. And Bryce, what do you do to? Yeah, I know. I'll ask very honest questions. If you don't want to answer, you can tell me no. I might not accept it though.
Well, fortunately, I have a teammate now, so.
I know,
talking
you just
about
got married.
Anybody and everybody, and it's people really like their wedding, so it's like you've got a lot.
I love it.
Like, come to helpful opportunity. I like filling out that opportunity thing in Command.
Do you? Yeah, when
Yeah,
that comes up, that feels good. Yeah.
That looks really good with all the city though.
So I love all of that, right? So you guys have clearly some things you guys need to learn or want to learn. What has been one of your most challenging things that you've had to deal with thus far in the last couple of years?
Mentorship. I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. All right. It's a lot, right? You go through school and you're like, oh, like you teach me how to transactionally be an agent, but then you get into the real world and you're like, wait, that's like this much of the actual job, right? So it almost like it's overwhelming, right?
Yes.
And then like I'll have a breakout session where we'll talk about where the market's actually really sitting right now, like where our consumers' brains really sitting. But really the basis is COVID changed the way that we communicate, right? With everyone. I mean, social now is a prime spot for everything. Texting used to be intimate. That's not intimate anymore. In fact, Alex just showed me a brand new app that I can use for $8 a month to rapidly like text out my messages and stuff like that. Right? Like there's constantly things that are coming up. Hey, you. Oh, is James here?
Yeah.
Oh, does he get to attend one of the classes finally? Hold on, people. Hold, please.
You see, mobile counseling,
Mobile crisis. I work nights, so we just go out driving around to different situations.
Okay.
people that are in
People
chaos.
that are in crisis, yes.
So to go back to everything's just changed. It's overwhelming, right? So one of the things that we definitely recognized is because the skills levels have changed so much and there's been so many disruptors, we're just not training on those pieces. So through the next 12 weeks, whether you're hopping online and looking at it, if you're coming in person, I do love the in-person. It gets real fun. We get loud, we collaborate, like there's a lot going on. So, we're going to go through all those changes. That's why it'll repeat every quarter, because guess what? If something changes, we have to be able to rapidly train to it, not react, right? Okay. So anyone online will get these. I'll send them out digitally again with the follow-up email and stuff. So here's a worksheet for today. We'll be doing 2 activities. And then anyone who knows me knows I love QR codes. So any of the resources that we might need are here, though I'll be at the top. Kelly with Magnus does all of our print, the print that you see all up here. You can order your stuff through her. I would love always, please, any feedback, bad, good, ugly, indifferent. I'm a very honest person. So I would love honest feedback. Look, Kyle, you get to be here. I'm so excited. Okay. And then if the social media mastery class does start on Thursday, guys.
Oh,
Are you excited, Bryce?
yeah.
Please tell me you're excited.
That's what I thought
Yep.
I missed while I was gone.
Nope, we're good. So we're gonna go through all things. I love to say like I'm a social baby because like I was 16 when MySpace came out. It's all coded and all the things and all the music and stuff. And then I've gone through every one of them. I fought it until about 5 years ago. I get quite a bit of business from my social. Even if I was more intentional, and I've had to rebuild branding after brand after brand after brand, running those big teams and stuff. So
That just said, I have a lot of rich content. Personal stuff.
yeah, well, that matters. Like, we want to think that it just needs to be business, but it's not. But we'll get into all that. Okay. So anyways, in here too, I am collecting some pretty cool, like little prizes and stuff. So each class on Thursday and Tuesday, whether it's Zoom or it's something like that, if you guys complete the activity and return it, that's what I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna give you 5, raffle tickets towards, whatever prize. We're gonna give 3, so we'll do like first, second, and third. So essentially 6 things. And anyone who's in the room, you guys can see that's what we were doing just for the monthly stuff. So we actually have to pull those names today. 10 points for any attendance after the first day. So signing into my sign-up sheet's really big. That means you too, Gomez. And 20 points for inviting someone, even if they're in our office. Like, part of this is because I'm annoying. I love people and I want to be like surrounded by you guys. I don't know everything and not even close to it. So I need you guys as much as, you guys might need the class, right? Like, we all like grow, learn, and all the things from each other. Okay. In addition to that, if you need my information, my dears, it's there. If I don't answer right away, I will call you or respond as soon as I get a free moment. So, okay. So we're just gonna jump in. We're going a little late, but we have a class today, so it'll be fun. And by the way, who's used AI in here? Yeah. I created all my images with AI. You have to look out for their eyes and their fingers. I'm not even kidding you. Okay. So, I did something different this time, and we're gonna kind of have an agenda. So we're gonna go into a little bit of an intro and expectations that I have. Then the first hour, we're gonna jump into seller lead types. Then the next 30 minutes, we're gonna kind of have a break, go get a snack, use a restroom, walk around, and work on our first activity. So you guys have like 30 minutes to just kind of get caught up on a phone call, whatever it is that we need to do. The next hour, we're going to talk about the actual paid versus free. And in good Rachel fashion, ignore the last one. Well, it'll be a wrap up. Sometimes my brain goes faster than my hands. Okay. So, as we go, you guys will see the listing mastery. And I just realized you guys on Zoom can't see this. So let me help you guys out. Hold on. Next week will be much smoother, I promise. Hold on one second for you guys. Hey, you. I don't know. I have no idea.
Sit in here, I'll sit in here, working at the same time, you'll probably get frustrated.
Well, maybe. I will take you though. Okay, let's redo this. Now we're sharing. See, I have to see these guys. Okay. So as we go, you guys will see that we are launching the Mastery Series collection. So every quarter we'll be launching a new series of classes that will repeat each quarter. Okay. Why? Because we want to make sure that we're on top of all of our skills changes and heaven forbid our drops another bomb and we're all like scrambling, you know. So participation. This is a learning environment. That means ask questions, type in, and share what you know and come prepared. So moving forward, I would love for you guys to bring your computers and anything that you guys might need because I will have you work off of them. Okay. We'll be jumping in and out of programs and commands and things like that to kind of better understand our systems and whatnot. Okay. Note taking, snap pictures, scribble all over your page. This is meant to be used and abused. So two is we work through the classes and lessons. So share with who you want. I mean, KW is really good about freely sharing. So I want to make sure that we're always honoring that piece. Breaks, we do have 2 designated breaks, but however, I'm not a heathen. So if you guys need the restrooms, always in the back. Coffee and snacks should be to your right. And then commitment, consistency and action-driven goals. Each class will offer a new set of tools. So sometimes we'll look at a class and we're like, well, I don't have anything to gain from that. And maybe that's the case, but chances are there's someone else in the room that can benefit from your knowledge. So I would encourage you guys to show up for that piece too. We're kind of just all in it together. It's supposed to be a community piece. So let's forgot my clicker. Okay. I just realized I've got things all over the place, huh? Hold on. All right. I'm having all kinds of technical difficulties. Okay, lead sources. So we're going to go through, I did take the 5 Ds out. That might be a specialty class, but we're going to run through cancels, expireds, FSBOs, farming, some hybrid farming, past clients, SOI, database, paid ads, and social. Okay. So we will be talking about those lead source groups today. How do we get them for free? And how do we potentially pay for them? So I love quotes and memes. So you'll see some varieties of that throughout all the classes. So to replace real estate agents with robots, clients will have to accurately describe what they want. So we're safe. Okay. In reality, we'll probably always be needed because, well, we're the experts in our field. Okay. Show of hands. How many have dealt with an expired or canceled?
I was just part of the team. I didn't close the deal, but
Have you talked to them?
I've got the.
Have you tried to convert it? Okay, have you, my dear?
No.
Okay, Kyle?
Yeah, but it was a referral. I didn't have to do that work.
Yeah, that don't count. I mean, it counts,
Yeah.
just not for this conversation. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna need to discuss your listing. So what do we know about cancels and expireds? It's a tough lead source, isn't it? Most people don't want to touch it. Are you aware fully what that is? Okay. So I don't have to go into that. Okay. They have an immediate need. They put their house on the market. Something didn't happen, right? They canceled or let it expire. So they had an immediate need to handle and want their real estate transaction moved. We also know that their needs weren't met, or it wouldn't be canceled, or it wouldn't be expired, okay? We also know that more often than not, they're tired. Does anyone know why they would be so tired?
Emotional roller coaster. They've been up, they've been down.
Because of the transaction itself? Okay, yeah.
No, just the whole process, things falling out at the last minute.
Yep.
They're heading one direction, they assume that it's a go.
So the whole transaction has made them pretty tired. Well, we also have disruptors in our market too, like ISAs and people identifying that this is such a great lead source, right? It has to be a consistent, it's a tough lead source, guys. It's not undoable, it's great. But just like any niche market, it's kind of like that. So they're also getting saturated. I mean, I've heard of clients, as soon as their listings cancels expired, like we're talking 80 phone calls within a day at least. That's not even the text message, emails and everything else, right? So they're already tired and then they just can't even breathe, right? So, okay, this was going to be one of the activities. Kyle, you're the only one that has a computer, or do you, Bryce? Okay.
Yes.
Do you have MLS on your phone? Okay, so in 2023, we produced, and I just want to make sure you guys really take this in. Can we shut the front door? Okay. It's great being a hustling and bustling market center, but like it can be loud sometimes. Okay. So 2023 produced 21,000 expired and canceled listings that never sold on the MLS. Someone tell me how many listings are currently sitting on the market and all armless?
Active is coming soon.
Let's just do actives, just actives. Well, yeah, let's just
17,500, I think it is.
17,500. Okay. Now let's take into consideration pending UCB coming soon, not closed though. Not expired, not canceled, not withdrawn, not temp off market.
Just UCB pending,
Pending, yeah.
not active, so.
Yeah, active too. Just put it all together now. So just active,
25,000, or 26,300.
26,000 what?
300.
Even? Oh,
16.
okay. So this is, I like to call this a transactional pipeline. Okay. And then 2023 yielded 21,16, right? So we know like that's almost our current inventory for the year, just houses that couldn't get sold for some reason or another. Okay. We don't have a ton of people on this particular class, but if we did, I bet you the numbers would still be the same. But if you just took 1% of this, like we just even as a brokerage took 1% of that, what's 1% of 21,000?
10% is 2630. So 1% is 260.
So 263 deals. Okay, just if, and I'm just using, because we want to break it down, right? So if we just as a KWNE took 1% of that, you said it was what?
263 deals.
263 deals. Okay. I'm gonna tell you that, let's just say we have 50 moving agents, like that are moving, not part-time, not admin, not just, let's hypothetically. So that equates to about 55, about 5 deals apiece. Right? We all, you know, like our jurisdiction technically, I mean, we can go anywhere we want, but is all this whole northern West Valley, you know, kind of some of the Northeast Valley, right? So 5 deals apiece. If we just were more intentional with this particular lead source, right? So the numbers are in there, right? There's a lot of reasons that maybe that didn't happen, okay? That's a digging in type of situation, but just understand, like, when we look at the map and we'll really talk about, like, Phoenix is where metropolis, right? So the world is plentiful. There's plenty to go around. It just depends on how we're looking at each one of them. Okay, any questions about expireds and cancels? No? Okay. Then. Oh, we just did this. Sorry. Sometimes I get ahead of myself. All right. Who's ever touched a FISBO? You have?
I've tried.
You've tried. Tell me about that, Kyle.
Well, a neighbor had a FISBO, so I contacted him.
Okay.
Wasn't able to convert that.
Why? What was the conversation?
Well, he already had several people giving him offers on it. So this was back in 2020, I guess it was.
Oh, yeah, when everything was flying off the shelf, or is it? Yeah, still
Yeah.
kind of moving, yeah.
Um,
Okay.
I started to drive around and knock on doors, and then I got a little deflated when I was picking them off the day they got. No, I'm thinking of expires, never mind.
Oh, you're thinking
Okay.
expires?
Yeah.
Okay. So just that one.
Who's that one?
Okay, Bryce?
Again, well, I was like an ISA, but I set an appointment, had a discussion with the guy, and learned that he might want to move and do something.
Yeah.
And because I couldn't do the transaction, those things, my son
Right.
just called him up after a brief conversation, said, when do you want to move? When do you want to sell this thing?
Yeah,
How long have you been doing this?
Yeah.
And the guy had been doing it for 5 weeks or something, and he just reached his limit.
Okay.
You know, it's not like my son was rude, but it was like, the question was, well, how's that working for you?
yeah,
Man, here's what the way I would look at this. And the whole notion, again, he's pretty verbal, saying, okay, people, if you have a FISBO, people are expecting discount prices. It's like, if you go to a garage sale, and all of a sudden there's a Rolex there, then you're not gonna wanna pay full price for the Rolex.
well,
matter
no, because
matter
it's,
what the
what's that
condition.
environment? You're putting
Yeah.
you're putting a Rolex into a discount environment, right?
Yeah, and because regardless of how good it is, they're gonna take a look at it and say, this is a garage sale. What do you-
Well, and all of us know, right, like as
Yeah.
agents, that, well, they're not paying commissions, so.
Yeah, there's.
Or they're only paying one side of the commission, so there's negotiating room in there to the value of the home.
That was the interesting
Yeah.
part too, without, the last thing I'm gonna say.
Yeah, no,
Is
you're
they said, okay, if you bring with the right person, but they still wanted to split things.
Yeah.
They didn't understand the whole mechanism, but they wanted to slice and dice.
And just so you know, like, FISBO, unrepresented buyers and sellers next to property, those are your 2 top lawsuits right there, okay? So think about that. Have you touched a FISBO at all? Never had a conversation, okay. Do we know what they are? Okay, so, right, they've decided that they're gonna sell it on their own.
Mhm.
Because, you know, they're smarter than we are. Now I'm gonna tell you, most of the things I talk about are in general. Understand that there's always exceptions to the rules. So there's a few FISBOs out there, right, that are seasoned, or their agents choosing to do that way. There's a variety of reasons. So there is like this small area of people that are really proficient. Okay, but 98% of our FISBOs are they're not. Okay, so what do we know about them? We know that, again, like cancels and expireds, they have an immediate need, right? Because they chose to essentially put their house on the market to some degree. Most of the time, bottom line is the issue. They don't want to pay commissions, they don't want to pay this, they don't want to pay that, right? They're looking at how much they're going to get, right? And then they're unrepresented. So knowing that those are two at the top, right? We know that they're also vulnerable too. And I don't think anyone wants to really do a transaction if they understood how vulnerable they tend to be. Okay. So again, NAR has not updated this stat. As soon as it is, I will have it. But as of right now, their current FSBO stat around pricing says that FSBOs account for 10% of home sales. Okay. In 2021, selling for 225,000 compared to 330,000 for an agent assisted home sale. Why do we think, other than the discounted price piece that Bryce mentioned, why would we think that they would get so much less doing it themselves versus us?
Oh, again, this is just from what I understood in the discussions, that there's an asymmetry between the knowledge and the skills they have and the other people, because the other people might be bringing their parents in, a real estate attorney, a realtor, contractor, you know, when they go to negotiate something, they'll show up with a goods or repair list at retail price.
It's easy to bamboozle them.
Yeah,
essentially.
that's the short term.
I mean, again, and we're not talking about the niche that's really proficient. Okay, we're talking about the general, but yes.
You show up repair list, it's retail, and somebody doesn't know that, and you say, okay, check.
And what is our job? Our job is to negotiate on their behalf as a listing agent. It's our job to get as many buyers in so that they have a bigger pool to have a better outcome from, right? So, and why are we talking about this, by the way? You're like, where's my free leads versus my paid ones, right? Because we need to understand where they're going as we go through these courses. You guys will see that everything's layered, right? When we go through here, we will address probably every lead source will get addressed each class. All right. So knowing that essentially, and I'll tell you this, I'm just going to give you we'll talk more about this when we get into it. FSBOs don't want your help. You going in and saying, hey, FSBO, here's my listing presentation, here's my value prop, and we're going to do all the things. They don't care. I mean, I've actually been kicked out of house because of that. I've had agents kicked out of houses because of that. So if we know, and I'm just kind of gearing you guys up for some of our other classes, if we know that they don't want our help, but our job is to build rapport, right? And to get into a relationship with them. Okay. And it's not going to be through getting the listing, because stats. Okay. This is where it currently is. How long do you think it takes a FSBO to get tired? Right, you've been in my classes, do you remember?
I thought it said 5 weeks, 5 something.
So it's, guess?
7, my guess was a month.
Yes. 3 to 5 weeks. They get tired here. Now, as the market gets tougher, days on market go up, right? They're gonna hit that a little bit faster. But it's about 3 to 5 weeks. So we know we have a short nurture game happening, okay? Knowing this, what do you think that you could do to be of service to help build the rapport with them?
Reach out to them for that 3 to 5 weeks.
So follow up,
Follow up.
because people will drop off 100%. Who's contacting them as it gets closer to that will be less and less, okay?
And if you could produce the stats, what the sales have been in their area, just show what
So
close under contract, blah, blah, blah.
educate them.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's a great way to do a pop by or mailer or something around that, or like a packet. Kyle, what do you got? Okay, not every broker does this, so please understand that always ask your broker. There are some brokerages that don't. We will allow you to do an open house for a FSBO.
Sure.
Okay, we have a one pager that we like them to sign, just saying that we're not, there's some things in there, but. Right? How could you, like, if they are hosting an open house, hey. Excuse me. Also been talking a lot today. So, okay, so they're already doing their open house, right? How would I bring you a couple signs? I'll bring you some, a case of water. Right, and a couple things of cookies. Right, to put out at your open house. Gives you a reason to linger and do all the things, right? So as we go through these classes, I really want you guys to think outside the box. We will talk a lot about mom, which is Bryce. What's mom?
Okay, there, you got me.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's right everywhere.
I know, it's everywhere. Okay. So what do we know mom to be? If it's not a bad mom, what do we know mom to be? What does mom do for us?
Nurture.
Nurture. What'd you say? Eggs? What would you say?
Eggs.
Oh, I thought she nags. Yes, I thought you said eggs. I'm like, well, she probably does cook eggs.
At the moment, I don't know.
Thank you. Right. So mom heals us, nurtures us, makes things better, guides us, right? So mom is a message of the moment. Okay. That can rapidly change. Right. So that's part of this design is what's an expired cancels message of the moment, right? They're tired. We have to have an efficient way to probably get their house sold. FSBOs, what's the message of the moment? They don't want to list their house. So we have to build rapport through service. Okay. So think about those things as we're going along. Okay. Who farms? You have a
I tried it.
okay. Wait, what happened?
That summer it was hot and doing nothing. And then just putting too much money out and nothing.
Okay. Can I tell you a funny story
Mhm.
with door knocking and it being hot? Okay. You know the story. I think you might have even heard it. And he wouldn't even care. So we have an agent. He might or might not still be in our office. We love him dearly. He's I love him so much. So I was on a team and he had just started and we had ordered 250 door knockers from our special print company. Okay. And they were supposed to be divvied out, but he came to get the whole box. So when he came, now, very fit, do all the things, right? You know, no different than us girls going, well, she's wearing that, really? Like, so he pulls up to my house and I give him 250 door knockers in a box. And his shorts are so very short. And he's wearing a wife beater. And I was like, okay, he just started. And I looked at another set agent, who is how he got to me, right? I said, set agent. He just came in walking, wearing shorts shorter than I would wear at home and like a wife beater. I said, and he is always dressed to the nines. Please tell me he's not going to go door knock in that set agent. And said agent said, of course not. He would never do that. Okay, 5 hours later, I had a phone call. Okay, so I'm done. You're done doing what? I door knocked. Wait, what? All 250. I dropped them all off. And I was like, wait, when? And he goes, as soon as I left your house. Yes, it is hot here. Please do not door knock. And Daisy Dukes and a wife beater, you know? I mean, handsome dude, but like he essentially just went out there looking like a brunette version of Johnny Bravo over here. Surprised he didn't get more leads from it. Okay. So for you, you said it got hot and it kind of fizzled out. Was that the only thing you were doing was door knocking?
I was door knocking, I was sending out emails, what else was I doing? Mailers.
So every door direct.
postcards.
Okay, so I'm just gonna write that for the sake of writing it. So we have every door direct mailers, right? You had, so were you using door hangers or what were you using?
I didn't
You
use
door
that
knock.
door direct. I wanted to be more personal.
Oh, so you did Popeyes
I
or
did,
just door knocking?
I did stamp, no, I did stamps.
Oh, you did
did
stamps.
handwritten,
Oh,
envelopes.
oh. Mm. Girl, some dedication. Okay, so I'll just put handwritten. And then when you door knocked, did you have a
I
flyer?
had a, door jam here,
Okay. And then you said you had emails, right?
emails,
Anything else?
and, postcard that I paid somebody to hand out, just go by and drop off.
Okay.
I try to get something out once a week,
And how long did you do that?
about 5 months.
Um, well, guess where you would have started to, we have low hanging fruit. Your probably would have started to see things happening under 6 months to a year.
Yeah,
Okay. Anybody who farms, it's a consistency and it is a long game. Not that there's not, and I do have some tricks and tips for you guys to get more low hanging fruit.
I think summer and door knocking, that is.
So we gotta be like intentional, right? Like, and so if we know that, okay, so one of the only sales jobs I ever did that was like door knocking was for this hot minute, I sold like alarms, like not like ADT, but like some of those like smaller ones, right?
Mhm.
And that summer, it was like 123 degrees. Okay, I've never lost so much weight in my life. Okay, because I could not, I was so hungry. It was crazy. It was insane. I'm not recommending anybody necessarily door knock that like during the heat of anything, right? We've got like 4 or 5 months that can be really tough, especially with our monsoon season and it creating all of that humidity and stuff. There's a lot of other stuff that we can do or that we could provide for them to bring them to us that maybe is not requiring us to do that.
And
Okay.
I think I picked too big of a farm.
Okay. So tell me about that. How many people in there?
Yes.
So that's actually kind of small. Most of our,
That was big for me to
Yeah.
door knock all that in. Just-
cause girl, how would you try to do that? Like you gotta like break it out, right? Like you look at that and you're like, man, that's why when that one said agent said I did 250, I'm like, yeah, 5 hours later. Okay, we're gonna talk about how to utilize our time, right? And be more intentional. So that you're not having to do that. Cause that should last you. You should be like doing rotations, right?
Okay.
Through your farm. I would say a typical farm is about average. We can get into the 1500s. We can get as small as like 200-300. I say it about 8 to 1,000 is about what an average subdivision feels like here. Would you say for everybody's done every door directs? Yeah. So how do we do that, right? Like we don't want to burn ourselves out and so we'll talk about all that. But what do we know about farming? Okay. When we think of buying or selling a home, who's the first person you should call? Yellow, me. Blue, also me. Okay. Right. The whole point of farming is to saturate. Okay. Farming is also one of the things we are going to have a branding mastery course, right? But when we talk about branding, a lot of it's subliminal. Okay. And because our communication is so amplified by social media and so many different platforms and instant gratification, and then we still have all the old stuff, and then we have disruptors and we have all this stuff happening. We have to make sure that we're hitting all communication platforms. Okay. So when I look at this, great. Definitely a great start. There's a lot of other things you can do that is not going to require you to be physically doing it too. Okay. That we could apply to some of those things. So what do we know is we don't know what they need. It's just a general list, right? We have no idea. We can definitely pull a niche market out of any farming area. If you guys have questions about that, let me know, because I think you should always have your general farm, and then we should have identified a niche area in there. Because that will be the message of the moment, for that, like, low hanging fruit, okay? But, and everybody knows what I mean by low hanging fruit, right? Ripe fruit, ready to drop, okay. All right, so we don't know what they need. So we have a variety of ways that we can talk to them, speak to them, do these things, right? I really wish I could just get this down. I'll have to futz with this later. Okay, it's also multi-layered, okay? This is probably one of my favorite things. Who knows Kelly in this office? Have you worked with Kelly at all? Okay. I know you guys do, okay. So you know, all this is her, this is with Magnus. I'm not saying you have to use Magnus, okay? But you will hear me say a lot, if you use a vendor, you use a vendor, okay? Don't be the asshole that's taking their money and not giving a business, right? Same thing when it's reversed. But many title companies can do this too, which is we have a really good relationship with Magnus, and we're doing a lot of plug and play with them, okay? So add that out. Get a different color. Okay. So clearly you're farming, you had a title list, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, and you guys, obviously, I know you guys have title lists, right? So one title list. Just one. Okay. Gives you and this is just some of it, it's just the main pieces, right? Oh, go figure. Phone. I would say about 80 to 90% of the time you can get an email. Okay. Address. Home. Anniversary. Okay, because it tells you when they bought their home. Okay. Tells you equity. And any other vital piece of information you might need to know. Okay. So essentially, you're going to hear me talk a lot about title lists, a lot in this. And why is that? Because you can pull a title list around anything. If I got a listing, guess what? I pull a CP list around that whole neighborhood. Guess what? I have that same information for every homeowner in that neighborhood. And what did I pay for it? So, okay. But it's not the only free lead source. I'm just telling you guys that this will be one of the biggest ones. Okay, so if we know that we have this, and so on and so on, right? The message of the moment, super easy. Number one. Number two, we then can create what I like to call a niche market or niche, wherever you sit on that. Okay, so in a niche market could be, it's original owners, there's a lot of equity. And if it's original owners, depending on the age of the home, right, that might mean that there would be a transitioning out, right, downsizing. Okay, we have a new agent. This one's probably one of my favorites because your farming area should be where you're close to. You should live and breathe in it somehow. You could be working in it, you could be living in it, you know, maybe it's where you grew up and you're not living in it now. I mean, it's just, you should be intimately familiar with your farming neighborhood, right? So, new agent just happens to work at Maribel's golf course. Okay, and that's, you know, big price point up there. And we're working on his farming. And so we obviously want to make sure that, oh, by the way, it takes time and consistency. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But a true farmable neighborhood must have a 5% turnover rate and no dominant agent. What does that mean? Right? So we sat down and talked about his farm. For every 100 houses, okay, 5% of them have to turn in 12 months. Okay, that means that the neighborhood is moving. Okay. Two, there are ways, other than our MLS just helping us find that piece, that it also allows us to isolate if there's a dominant agent, right? Okay, so we can filter through or switch the way our columns are A through Z or Z through A, right? Whatever. So what we can also see instantaneously too when we do that is, okay, well, this has got a 5% turnover rate, but I now need to see if there's a dominating agent, right? So if you're seeing someone who's multiply or, you know, is just in there quite a bit, our third code of ethics says that we have to respect and work with and educate, do all those things to our co-op agents, right? When you have literally put that much time that you could be taking that kind of listing volume from a farm, my guess is you've been in there at least 5 years. So if you have put the sweat, blood, and tears into it, right? Why? I don't think that's a good way to cooperate with your other agent. You know, even if they're not in our brokerage, to go in and kind of take their stuff. So who's ever heard of that? Like, we go through a medical malpractice lawsuit and my side gets a doctor, you know, specialist. And then the hospital does what?
Expert witness.
Gets a bigger one.
Yeah.
Then I get a bigger one. And then what do? They get a bigger one. You're going to be playing that cat and mouse with that agent. Okay. Because unless you have time and all the money in the world, okay, there's no point in jumping into it. It's a waste of time. We have such a big city. The world is plentiful. So we don't have to jump into their stuff. Okay. So, with that said, so now that we know a little bit of the algorithm, the math or the math on it, niche, right? So we were able to say that Maribel Club or something, I forgot what the subdivision name was. That one had a dominating agent. So much so that his brokerage was named Maribel Properties. Like he had opened his own brokerage and everything. So I was like, yeah, I guess we're not going to compete with that. So with that said, there was like Maribel Village, which was just slightly southwest, I think it is. And so we searched that one, no dominating agent. Perfect. Okay. So I told them, I was like, okay, cool. We got our farming area. It's like 700 and something odd people. We're good to go. I was like, now you work at the golf course. What do you know? Okay. You're seeing, because that golf course, right, is housing everybody in that area. He's like, oh, there's a lot of second homes. Oh. Okay. So what do we call that? Second homes means what?
It's not a primary residence, usually out of state owners or whatever.
Absentee owner.
Mhm.
Okay. First part of it, right?
Mhm.
So with an absentee owner, we know it's not their primary residence. Okay. So they don't need it to live, at least physically when we look at it that way, right? They might need the money to live. We don't know. Won't know unless we have the conversation, right? So if we know that, so I was like, okay, cool, absentee owner is awesome. What else do you know? He's like, oh, they're mostly Canadian. Okay. Now, if you guys didn't know, and we'll talk about this, I might jump into it faster. KW, being amazing, has the most amazing, fantastic referral portion in our command. Have you ever used it? Okay. Blow your mind. Okay. And we'll use it for a few different things. So they have tracked all of the referral traffic everywhere, internationally, all the things. You can put in a city And it can go, okay, this is where your people are coming from. Pretty cool. But he already told me, Canadian, right? We have a lot of them, okay? We also know that they like to turn their properties a lot, okay? So if we know that they're. Okay, so now we have absentee owner and we have that they're Canadians, so they're international, well, they're cross-border, right? Second home, they've got money, they've got all these things, right, like that we can work with, right? And they tend to rotate their stuff pretty fast. Okay, then we know, oh. Right, our message at the moment, one of them will be targeting them, social. Email. Mail. Text, right, all goes on, right? There's so many ways to do that. So. Barn list. Niche. And what does that give us the ability to do? So
Data.
literally,
Huh.
oh, I'm gonna get a different color. Let's go red. Okay, so what is all of this allow us to do? Okay, we can call, which will always need to be one of the first things you do. We need to pick up the phone, people. Okay, we need to pick up the phone, period. I don't care if you're having a good conversation over text. If they're responding, pick up the phone. Okay, unless they're indicating that they need to keep the conversation there or whatever, okay? Also, and we always want to respect whatever rules around spamming, marketing, do not call, all that stuff, okay? We can text. Okay. We can email. Oh. Okay. And then, we can, every door direct, I will put that one. And then I'll put, package handwritten, right? I'll do mailers, mailings. Okay. So we can do mailings. We can also door knock. Okay. And because we also have our niche market, right? Door knocking and Popeyes are two different things. What's the difference?
Door knocking, I mean, Popeye, you leave something with them.
You do with door knocking too,
Okay,
right?
okay, but I'm talking about.
Yeah. So door knocking, I want you to look at it like this, okay? Let's say. And then we'll do the same down here.
Cause I have hangers.
Can you guys see my board? Kinda, okay. So door knocking and Popeyes. So let's say we have this grid of all these homes. Okay? Obviously, a neighborhood's not shaped like this, but bear with me, people, you get where I'm going, okay? So, when we door knock, the whole premise is to do what? Get through them all. Okay, eventually. Okay, we're gonna hit all of them eventually. Okay, and your rotation of whatever you're doing, however many homes you're hitting in a week. Okay, Popeyes are intentional. Okay, they're intentional. There's something that's causing you, and yes, there's always something. There's a mailer, what'd you call it? A door jammer or a door jam? Door knocker, door hanger. There's like a variety of different types of stuff. Popeyes, usually there's something fun attached to them. I do always have. And thank you, Bryce. To give you an example, Bryce has got a full campaign going on. I've got most of his stuff. This is a Popeye size, okay? Versus this would be more of a door knocking type of door jam. You can get them with the holes, so door hanger, you could do just a normal flyer, right? Everyone, see, just paper. Okay. Intentional. It's a little bit more thought behind it, right? There's actually a reason why it's back scratcher. Okay, I'm not. Okay. We'll use Popeyes for events. Okay. So, we'll use them for that, right? And things like that. So just remember that they're two different things. One's intentional, one is, supposed to be done. Okay. So, I just want to make sure that you guys understand the difference between the two. So we'll put Popeyes. Okay. It also allows you to do community service. Okay, and when I say that, I mean like they're doing an event, you get to participate in it, you're participating in their event. Okay. You know, maybe you have to pay something for it, but you're trying to get back to that community. Okay, somehow there's a ton of different ways to do it. Okay. It then allows you to, I want to say invite. And this is a very blanketed statement. It could be to seminars. It could be to an event that you're holding. It could be an event you're doing in the community or outside the community. I mean, there's a ton of things. And this list can go on and on, right? Oh, I'm forgetting one big one. Because you have emails, okay, and phone numbers, right? If those are linked to social, you can actually create custom audiences. Okay, and then you can then target them specifically through social as well. Okay. Now, I am starting this class by really putting an emphasis on this piece. Because if you're in good relationship with any title company and they can pull these lists for you, okay, you have a buyer, pull the list. You have an open house, pull the list, even if it's not yours. You know, you got a listing, pull the list. Okay. This is the most underutilized next to our SOI in our database, free lead source that we have. And we can pull it with anything. So, and we can do almost anything with it. Actually, anything we can do with the other ones, we can do better with this one. Okay. So I just want to really, really encourage you guys to really dive. So if you wanted to do that farming area, you know, let's sit down and talk about that. If you want to isolate another one, let's sit down and talk about that too. Okay. But it needs to be, when y'all come in, it should have always been your SOI. You should have always had a list of everybody you could possibly transact with that you need to stay in front of. The next should always be a farming list. Okay, because it's I'm trying to give a good example. What is a good example of trying to cover everything fastly and not being able to because time's of the essence? I would always good with stories and analogies.
Shotgun.
Really, Bryce? That's where you go? Oh my gosh.
So they call the term shotgunning, you know.
Okay. So because we can do everything here in Arizona too, I think that doesn't help. We're not limited on what facet of the industry we jump into. In addition to that, because it's easy to get around, okay? It's not like going back east or the Midwest or anywhere else where you turn and, okay, we're grid. It's really easy to go from one end to the other. And I'll just be honest, if y'all aren't willing to travel at least an hour to an hour and a half for a listing appointment, buyers, I can see keeping them a little bit more local. But for a listing, shame on you. Because I'm pretty sure that you'll go see a friend for an hour. We're not gonna go build your business, right? Okay, city is city, rural is rural, right? That's where it gets a little bit tough when you bounce between the two. Okay, so with that said, I want you to really make sure that we're focusing on that. And if you guys need any help with any of this throughout please, I am here. So let's think about, you've been in for 2 years, 3, right? We're at 3. Are we pushing 4, Kyle? Are we at 4? We're pushing 4, okay. Who comes to your mind when you think of an agent that dominates a farming area? It could be in yours, it could be outside. McBroom, Spiro, those are our 2 here.
This is Carol Joyce, right?
Kara Joyce. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've done it.
Yeah.
Good.
Are you saturated by like a face on a bus? Nothing like that? Okay.
I got the ink guy too. From my house.
Mm.
But he would get him.
That tattoo realtor?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's all.
Yeah. So
He's very tall. I didn't realize how tall I'm tall. He is pretty tall.
yeah, he was in Fast and Furious.
Okay. So right, like Spiro, I think he's a decade in. I think he has over what 350,000 into his farming area. Okay, McBroom, I'll have to talk to her, but she's been in that area for a long, long, long time. Okay. I'm not saying, again, we're going to talk about some things to pull that low hanging fruit, but it is a dedication game. Okay. All right, you ready? We'll get through these and then we'll take a break. Okay. So past, present, and SOI. Okay. So when I say past and present, I'm talking about past or present clients that we currently have. Okay. And then SOI is sphere of influence. Okay. And that sphere of influence can be our allied resources, you know, our family members like moms, brothers, sisters, mother, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, other allied resources, friends, or local businesses that we're really close to and stuff like that. Okay, vendors, anyone that you think, church, you know, kids' schools, my hobby, right? That's SOI. And we don't think about it, we will be. You better walk away. So I just realized like that's gonna be all over the place on YouTube. Anyways, moving forward. And I'm gritting my teeth at an agent. I do love him. Okay, so just a reminder to my friends that I'm in real estate, so come see me first. I'm gonna ask a really tough question. I ask it every time and it hurts every time. It has to be asked and answered. So not very many of us, but the question to you is, y'all have been in the industry enough. Who do you know, and have you been in a situation where someone has chosen to use someone else and you're close to them, your friends, your family, coworker, so on and so forth? They chose to, knowing you were an agent, right? Like you've told them. Have you had that, Bryce?
Essentially, their kid was related to, had known an agent, the family known an agent for about decades.
Mhm.
So it wasn't, they didn't know me, but. It
No,
looked really
but
good.
you
I-
were not relevant or valuable enough.
That's true, not. at
And
this
I'm not
point.
trying to be mean.
No,
It's
it's
the
fact.
reality. Yeah. Kyle, have you had that happen? Where someone you know has chosen to use another agent, not you?
Yes.
Christian,
Yeah.
have you had that?
Mm.
Okay. It sucks. It like blows goes. It like straight in there, right? Because you know, I love people. I'm trustworthy. I would do the best job possible, right? That's what goes through our heads. But the reality is if we're not relevant, if we haven't shown our value, okay, then we're just another agent, because what's the statistic? Every person here in the valley knows at least 5 to 6 real estate agents. Isn't that where we're sitting? Yeah, it's just some obnoxiously competitive market. Now we might see some of that drop off, fingers crossed. But anyways, with that said, you know what I mean? Like if we're not staying top of mind, there is no mind to pay attention to, okay? So what do we know about this lead source? They trust us. Okay, if they're a past or present client or they're talking to us about real estate, they have trusted us with something. Okay. If they're family, okay, I'm a firm believer. You just because you're family doesn't mean you got to keep them around. Okay, you have to earn that spot. Okay. And friends, same things. They've got to earn that spot. Okay. Or we have to earn that spot. So if it's our vendors, if it's businesses we go to and we've like kind of made these like not friends, but acquaintance kind of thing, right? They trust us to some degree to have us in their life, right? So we don't have to fight for the conversation. It's just walk away, keep walking.
Busy.
Busy getting listings?
Yeah.
Okay,
Monday.
okay.
No, we just got back.
It's the only acceptable answer.
And more offers will help you.
Okay,
I
go,
would have to take Kyle on. Because she's Kyle.
Melindy. Okay,
He hands me my check.
where's my rent?
We talked about this.
Okay. So, they know what to expect from us too, right? Because they're in our life to some degree. They have an idea of how we'll baseline react, okay? Baseline, okay? We're all crazy somewhere. We're all needy somewhere. I'm not talking about that sides of us. I'm just talking about the baseline piece, okay? Guess what? They're also free, okay? They're already there. So past clients and present clients and SOI is the most unused lead source. I do not feel that you guys understand how many people in your world are actually there that you could be transacting with and that you need to stay relevant to. Okay. So I'm gonna get you something when we're done. You haven't seen me teach, have you, Kyle? I bounced by the way. Are you talking about Melindy?
I'm looking at Melindy. She's
Just shin kick him. Just shin kick him. Okay. So with that said, yeah, losing this, it's super tough. I even just recently had a best friend who came back to have me sell the house that she didn't use me to buy. And she's like, I should have used you the first time. And I was like, in my head, told you so. But right, I didn't show my value enough to her. I wasn't present enough. Okay. I don't care if it's on a spreadsheet. Preferably it's in command. If it's not in command, hopefully it's somewhere. Pray it's not your phone. Everybody's like, where's your database? They're like, my phone. I'm like, okay. Y'all have a database? We're all using something to communicate? Yeah, no? Okay. So our database should be SOI, past clients, internet leads, open house leads, paid leads, farming, referrals, renters, vendors, co-op agents. The list goes on and on, okay? So this should be one hub that holds all of your lead sources, okay? Which means it needs to be organized. That's why we'll have the lead gen mastery course. Okay. What do we know? You did something to bring them into the database, okay? You did some type of physical activity, whether it meant you paid for an ad and the lead came in, you manually put the lead in, you met the person, you this, you that, whatever. Okay. You've already paid for them because they're already in your database. Probably doing it, I have found, but it's already there. And then they do know your branding to some degree because hopefully they didn't go in and you haven't sent them nothing. Okay. So ask a question. It does not matter what industry we work in. What does every industry, service, product related have? That's common.
talking about database. I mean, that's the whole business.
It is, yeah.
When you sell a business, I mean, even if you're a cattle trucking business, what do?
It's
You pay, somebody pays.
your database.
$800,000
Yeah.
for your client.
It's your
list.
client list, your clientele. That is your one and only asset. Okay? Everything else can change. Okay? But what you do with your database and how they know you and how you move across your real estate industry or career is based in your database. Okay? Like, I'm not a big fan of teams that go, well, I'm gonna absorb your database and not give it back, right? If you go into a team, you should get your database back. They should delete it. That's your list, right? You travel through your whole career with this list. It grows. We should be feeding the beast. Okay, we want to always feed our database. Why? Because we need to convert and we need leads to convert, because eventually we'll dry the ones we have up out if we're not doing anything with them. Okay, so do you know where your leads are? So I just want to let, like, Kyle, how many leads are sitting in your personal agent database in command right now?
Leads,
Yeah, contacts. Pull it up. Bryce, you? Where do you hold your leads, love?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want a number, please. There is no wrong answer, by the way. It's like the KPA, there's no negativity.
17.
Okay,
if I curated this the way it's supposed to be, it would be about 295. I've got 522 entries in there, but I don't have the address.
that doesn't, I mean, you have contact information though, right? Yeah, that's a lead. Yeah, no, add those, so 5-ish. Okay, Angel, what do you got, love?
I don't know how to find it on this phone.
Yeah, it's quite different than this. Okay, but to go back to, right? Like, do you know how many you have? Now, there's a couple, like we have, they run kind of like a couple classes too around like beefing up your database and at least getting it to 210. I will be honest, unless you have automations and like smart plans kicking and you have a really good game as a single agent, it's hard to stay in contact with more than 150 people. Okay, it really is. So, and I'll trip all the time too, by the way. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind too. So Bryce and Kyle, I hope some of those are those all people you know?
Leads, no. Contacts, yes.
Contacts from where?
After the person transitions from being a lead, then that's when I know the person well.
No, I understand that, but like how'd they get in there? How'd they get into your database?
In different ways. So like some of them are just have reached out to me, some of them I just did a quick introduction. Some of them have been imported and they give me some sort of response. So
But like imported from where? Like Facebook leads,
no,
farming.
yeah, some of them from Facebook leads,
Okay.
some ads, some of them from some of them have responded to a post and said something to me about, you know, potentially wanting to do something sometime.
So you're kind of growing them all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know a little bit of, you should know exactly, but I love that you knew. Okay. So to go back to this class, I'm not going to jump a lot into your database management. Okay. But there's there's a lot of agents that have been on one of my teams or another, you know, that I've ran in the past. And it's funny because at the last quarter, I asked them, I was like, so would any of you let me into your database? And they know, because I'm super anal. I am like, so they're like, nope, Rachel, you can't come in. I'm like, yep, exactly. So I even trained you for years and you're still not applying it and don't know where your leads are. Okay. So I'm just going to set the precedent that by the end of today, part of your worksheet is to identify at least that many sellers in your database or in your life that might want to sell, even if it's not now. We just want to know might want to sell. Okay. So that'll dictate how we communicate with them, and it'll be an activity for later too. Okay. All right, paid ads. This is the only time I'm addressing paid ads because there's a whole class on paid ads in this course. Okay. So what do we know? They cost money, honey. Okay. And if you don't have if you don't understand the algorithms and the analytics and stuff like that behind it, it can cost you a lot of money or be wasted money. Okay. Super cool thing is obviously when we're running things like Google pay-per-click and Facebook and stuff like that, because we do run them through command, it's so much cheaper because we're pulling off of KW's whole reach versus just ours. And so we get more leads, and the cost per lead is substantially lower than if you were to just run it through your own individual Facebook. Okay. I set this precedent because a lot of people are like, oh, I got a lead. Okay. Paid ads and things like that, when you run like those things, they're inquiries, not leads. It's like a stage before a lead. Okay. I want you guys to understand that as we go, because yes, paid ads, especially because we can get them so cheap from command, it is a great way to feed your database. But if you do not have a system in place to nurture them, you've essentially just filled your gun with empty bullets. Okay. Now I'd like to think we're all a little smarter than that. Okay. And then you are appealing to the digital population. Because what did we find out? And you guys have heard me speak about, what is it, like 87% of the world uses social media. Of the world, people. We're not talking about our continent, you know, we're talking about as a whole. Okay. So if we know that, that's huge. Paid ads, they're directly attached to our social, unless we're using the pay-per-click stuff, then that's attached to all of our search engines. Okay. So these are NAR statistics. So 95% of people interested in buying a home research the process online first. 51% of home buyers find their home online. Doesn't mean they bought it, they just found their home. Okay. So we're saying most of the people in our world go to the internet to research what they want to do. And half of them actually find their house online. Okay. And what I'm finding is that we're so scared of social, we're so scared of paid ads and analytics and algorithms and all these things. Why there's a social course starting on Thursday. That you guys are missing where everyone's transacting. Okay. So we will jump that. So yeah, you need marketing to make money, but you need money for marketing, right? It's like this, did the egg come before the chicken? You know, it's like, it does feel like that, but we do have to start somewhere. Okay. And it doesn't have to be crazy expensive. So with that said, whether it be command, Facebook, they've got weird third-party sites, some websites you can pay for ads, pay-per-click and social. What's the most y'all have ever paid for an ad?
Social media or ad in general?
Social or pay-per-click, I don't care. It's paid ads. 60
Yeah,
bucks?
I had 100 for new homes at $100 because,
100?
yeah,
Okay.
because actually it's like a weekly type posting, informational and whatnot. It was not just, a
Okay.
flash.
How about you, girl?
Yeah.
Nothing. And that's totally good for you. You haven't gone down that rabbit hole yet. Okay. So I will tell you that personally, I know this to be true, that there's a lending company out there right now that focuses on military buyers. Okay, VA stuff, right? But they pay for just this market alone, like $2,300 for Facebook ads a month. Okay. And they only get like 5 people to show up to an event. It's insane. We have a team that's spending $1,400 to $1,800 and conversion's not there. Why? Because if we go back They're inquiries over leads, okay? People are poking around. If we don't know something, what are we gonna do? We're gonna go to Google or Siri and say, hey, tell me all the things. Okay? All right. So we are going to go into our break, okay? I would like you guys to identify, and again, even if you haven't transacted or anything, this is who do you know who's in your database? You guys know about who that is, okay? What's your number one lead source? Like, do you have mostly SOI? Do we have mostly farming? Do we mostly have paid ads? Is it mostly my community church? Is it mostly my wife's family, my husband's family? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like, who's in there? So I want you to identify 1, 2, and 3. Okay, it can be a guesstimate. It doesn't have to be an exact anything. You guys should know who's about sitting in your database, okay? I can tell you, I have a lot of farming. I've got about 32,000 people in my database. Quite a bit of it's farming. About 3,200 and change are from bridal expos. Okay. And there's quite a bit of paid ads in there. I actually don't have a lot of SOI in my database.
So that, how many people, how does that be door knock?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Mhm.
So we have to make sure that we're intentional with the way we're doing. But if I was going to pick a farming area, I need to pick one, dominate, saturate,
Mhm.
and ink blot it out. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I have 466 contacts, and most of them are from the farm, I think.
Okay. So perfect. Knowing that, I'm gonna leave this up and you guys have, and I'll grab some snacks and stuff like that, just in case. Come with me, I want to get you. Cause that tells me if you have most of those for your farming area.
I don't have them.
I'm gonna give you this, I want to like work through it. But because of the kind of referral program, they both have to go through.
I know.
More info from you specifically. We have some board lines in there too, and that's happening. And so now I'm just gonna add some. You have ability to. This is Rachel. Hi, how are you? Good. You caught me, I was just in the middle of training and we just took a 30-minute break, so you couldn't have had called at a better time. Oh, right here. Tucker. Yes, so are you working with? To, to go visit family and stuff like that. Both my mom and my dad were originally from there. But then I come back from my aunt's in 2022, so but I'm not from there originally, I'm from Washington, so you're always between those two, all being northern Midwest and it's a big, it's great. But, I love it.
And you guys going to go see the eclipse on Monday? Just curious.
I've been seeing it on the news, but, I'm not. I don't even, like, can you see it anywhere pretty much, or,
Yes and no.
yeah,
You're gonna be able to see a partial eclipse from anywhere in the States.
yeah,
Depending on where you are is how much you're gonna see, but you're gonna need glasses for it.
Yeah.
As far as totality, no, you have to go to certain destinations. I'm
Yeah.
going to Dallas.
Yeah,
I like one.
I caught the last fall, I caught a pretty decent partial over the Grand Canyon.
Oh, cool.
It didn't get real dark, but I'm in a total path where, everything gets dark.
So you like you've been to totality.
Yeah,
It's nice, isn't it?
yeah, and the little, all of a sudden you hear right before it happens, you hear the birds.
Birds start chirping.
Sure, but you they get real far away. I'm from Montana and they have one right in the middle of it. And they have these cars, these hippies, everybody from all over the place. So,
I remember as a
Yeah.
little kid, but I don't remember very much. I never interested in that.
oh, they got us ready from the beginning because they don't want little kids.
Yeah.
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 They just say, no. And one kid goes, I'm just gonna break a beer bottle. Old beer bottles. Go, no, the old beer bottle trick. It's real careless.
Gosh, are you got plans to go see it?
I'm gonna go to Dallas.
Are you cool?
Yeah. Fly out on Thursday.
What- Where's the path? Is
It goes all
where-
the way
where about
from
now?
Mexico, to up north, New York,
Mhm.
some of Canada, goes over the Niagara Falls,
Oh, wow.
some Arkansas.
Wow.
Just, yeah.
What part of Dallas?
It starts from the southwest and go all the way up to the northeast. No, you mean what part of Dallas?
Yeah, the path is it,
It goes through all through Dallas.
okay, so it's that big that it's gonna.
Yeah, it's gonna hit Dallas, and all that area and some cities outside of it.
It's so crazy. I have a sister who's kind of a hippie or whatever. And she was on one of those paddle boards with the beer watching. It's like in the middle of Wyoming or something.
Yeah, I love Eclipse. I'm already thinking about going to the one in 2027. That's gonna be in Luxor, Egypt.
Ah,
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. It's gonna be over the Valley of the Kings, so be some good photography there.
Yeah, that'd be real interesting. Spirits about. Yeah. So. But that's how Cortez took over, right? Columbus, one of those guys knew that there was gonna be an eclipse. And they timed all of the ritual, they timed their takeover for when the eclipse came. And everybody goes, well, wait a minute, these guys are gods.
I think I heard something about that.
Yeah.
I just, yeah.
Who used the
You still doing photography, Cons?
No, that I hesitated because I got a friend who asked me to do his daughter's pictures and I don't want to. I don't want to. I do not, I do not. I haven't come up with an excuse. I told him I can't find my portrait. And he sees me, I take a picture of my son in his track meets, But,
I keep on telling people, I've got some real blunt, that's not the kind of photography I do. I just leave it. No, I don't wanna do that photography. No, I'm good.
yeah.
I wanna give you money just because you wanna give my money, don't really, I want it.
Yeah,
I wanna do it.
you got all those little ladies with the sticks and the little.
Been doing a lot of landscape lately. That's my main focus. I
I
want
love landscapes. What I like about it is because when you do like portraits and stuff, everybody like I'm focused on the
Like the lowest
shadows,
of
everything.
lows,
Everybody's focused
like,
on
I
their
took-
blemishes or
Yeah.
their, hair, whatever. I'm thinking, oh my God, but you do landscape, it's fine if you like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to, where did I just come from? Death Valley.
Oh,
The other week, yeah.
that would be cool to photograph like that. Let's see. I just did some photos of my son. I really like it.
Sports?
Yeah, it's just track.
Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
I've been doing sports too. it's so time consuming that I like it less, cause at the editing and going through 100 pictures and.
help me. Um. Let's see, let's see. But, I don't like doing it either, but I like doing it for my son.
I like
Yeah.
doing it. I love sports photography. I just like it less. I think
Yeah.
it's so time consuming to you. Yeah, that's nice.
Okay. All right, so then.
Were you right there on the truck?
No. I like it, he likes it. So.
Mhm. I was doing it for my brothers too. He was doing so.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Until it got too hot, like that season itself, which is, it's too hot.
Yeah,
Like I feel like I'm about to faint taking
Mhm.
pictures. I'm good.
yeah. Yeah, so I just really like, lately I've been doing all black and white. I just really like it, so.
Okay.
So.
Do you shoot in black and white or do you change it over?
I change it over.
Okay.
I change it over, that way in Lightroom we still have full,
Mm-hmm.
control over
All that.
all the
Yep.
different color ranges, yeah. Oh.
So we all good. By the way, that year that we just had, like, here it was, like, pretty good, like, all that year, and then
Did y'all see that missile that took off the other night? The
The
rocket?
rocket, yeah, well, my daughter called me, she goes, yeah, I think that there's like some alien ship or something.
I was like, I don't know, what is that?
I went outside and looked and all I saw, like, what was left over.
Over, yeah.
I was like, I think that's just some light shining up in the cloud or something. She goes, no, you missed it.
Yeah, you.
After that, I saw it all over Facebook, you know.
Perfect. Absolutely. So, yeah, no, like I can, whatever. All right, we need a speaker, 10 years,
And then like I think Carolyn said, we are gonna be visiting at the end of June, so I can kind of give you an idea of dates that will be down, so we really.
Yep. Yeah, we'll do dinner and we'll go and then show you around and it'll be fun. It'll be good, but water. That's all you need to know. June is, it's right before, monsoon season and stuff like that. So there's lots of water, even if you think you don't want it.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
All
All right, my dears.
right.
Okay, have a great day. Bye. And that would be my cousin in Illinois.
Okay.
Okay, who just started with KW as a TC working for a team. I should have all my family in there. She just gave me by referral from another agent that works on their team. Okay.
Okay.
So, go on with it. Okay. All right, I'm gonna tinkle, get my coffee, and we're gonna start.
Cool.
You guys can finish your activity if you haven't started.
But.
Oh, shit, we were. Yeah. I think we're gonna be, what are your
Bathroom.
3 top lead sources in your database?
Reach out, these. It's gonna be a hard habit to break.
Huh?
It's gonna be a hard habit to break. We can go from that period of time.
I did that with the printer like 5 times. I'm like, oh yeah. Now we moved it from 15 to zillion time. All right, here's some chips and stuff if y'all want something you can solve here. Savory.
You going to keep that paint?
What the F?
Remember? You
Oh, I don't remember which one. You crack me up. I mean, I definitely did go out of my way to try that bag of chips, clearly, if they taste like taste,
You didn't taste that every bag?
right? I know, I'm a. All right. This coffee thing just closed. All right. Well, I'm gonna jump back into it.
Can we go offline for about 10-15 minutes after this? Chat, gonna meet with you quickly. You said,
Bryce, you're so needy.
what, so needy?
Stop it.
Yeah, sorry,
You know, of course you can. Oh, not today.
I'm a taker.
I'm gonna go look at a $6 million listing with someone. Okay, now the part y'all waited for. Are you gonna be in tomorrow, Bryce?
Thursday, but I'll text you because it's real quick, Karsten.
Okay. Maybe I'll call you when I'm done. Okay. Am I waiting for you, Gomez? Rude. Just walk away from me. Okay. So, paid versus free, right? When we talk about lead sources, it doesn't matter if it's a buyer, sellers, buyers, doesn't matter. When you pay in actual money, you pay for the convenience and the tools, right? So that range can be all over the place. But when you are trying to get something for free, guess what we're going to pay? We're going to pay in time. Okay, so it's going to require a little bit of elbow grease, a little bit of sweat equity. Okay, and the range is time to time. Okay, we can become more efficient, just like we can make our money work better for us. Same concept applies. But I like to say, because I'm brutally honest, that if you're not in a position that you can't pay for it, and time is what you have, clearly you have enough time. Okay, so, you know, either you can watch bonbons or watch soap operas and eat bonbons on the couch, or we can make our business go. Okay, all right. So I like little quirky little sayings for everything. By the way, my coffee mug today says, of course I talk to myself because sometimes I need expert advice. So we are going to jump into freed and paid during all the lead sources that we just identified, what their mindset is, you know, all of those things. Okay. Now, as a caveat, this is not all of them. There are so many more. Okay. In any of these categories. I'm just trying to isolate some of the ones that I'm more proficient in, or I've used quite a bit. If you guys know anything, please let me know so I can grow too with you guys. I would love that. So I like to call our expired and canceled our impatient seller, right? We know they're tired, they're all the things, and they're just not very patient. Even when we get them relisted. Okay. So like all the pop-ups. Okay. Mojo. Who's ever heard of a dialer? You've heard of dialers? Okay. So essentially there are lead sources that we can get that don't have a quote unquote dialer put in place. Same thing with CRMs. There are CRMs that have dialers and there are CRMs that don't. Okay. There's two types of dialers, a single line, triple line. Okay. Who has ever, Grace, honey, can you lower the temperature? The AC? I'm wearing a tank top where I take my shirt off. I think it's over here. So who's ever got a phone call and you hear that almost like click,
Oh, yeah.
drag on the line and
I
then,
hang up.
uh-huh,
I hang up on it. Okay.
that would be a triple line for 100%. Some single lines do that, but mostly the triple lines do that. You're just getting robocalled. You know it. You can feel it. Okay, I'm not saying there's not benefits to not triple line dialing, especially getting through a big list or anything. It's just people know. Hi,
Hi. There's my candy now.
we have been remodeling. Everything's been put away safe right now.
Hey.
Yeah,
Candy house?
I know. So Mojo, Red X, and Vulcan are probably the three that are being used the most right now. Mojo can run like 150 to 250 a month. Red X is about 70 to 130, and Vulcan is about 250 to 350 a month. Okay. Cool thing is Vulcan's got like a challenge that if you do the challenge, you can, get money off or get a month paid for or something like that. Red X, is pretty easy to navigate. It's also the cheapest. Mojo is probably one of the most widely used, and that one does have the triple line dialer. So those are some of the benefits of these. Our armless guys here in Arizona does not like to sync to anything. They don't like the permission to be given. It's like literally hidden, my dear. I'm sorry.
That's really-
Like, yeah,
All right.
no, literally, like we put like a whole box of stuff away right now while we're doing this.
Okay.
So, because of that, because they do not want to authorize that IDX feed, that access to our MLS, it's made it quite challenging for a lot of these dialers to auto-populate what is already coming out of our MLS, because everything that people are pulling is from that.
Mhm.
So Mojo, I have found historically over the last 5 years, is very finicky. Like you can go, oh yeah, I can pay for expireds and I can pay for cancels and I can pay for FISBOs in there. But if you were to compare their list of 5 to the list of 100 over here, we know we've got a disconnect, okay? Red X is a little bit better about having some of the newer stuff, but we've noticed that the contact information is not always good. Most of the stuff, anyways, even with the free stuff, you'll need a skip tracer. Okay, and I've got one that's $20 a month. It's probably the best on the market right now. And you have to get a background clearance for it.
You need a what?
Skip tracer.
What's that?
So like Facebook leads are a good example. You can put whatever phone number you want to, right? So then when you get the lead and you call them and it's a bogus number, we would want to skip trace that person to get their accurate phone number, or skip trace the number, vice versa. Okay, they'll give you a false name. So even with lead systems, we'll still see some of that, because again, it's pulling from all these sites that are, oh, you buy the leads. It's all being pulled from a different place. It's not like paid ads where you're going to get the lead direct. These are like third, fourth, fifth party bots. Like syncs that. And so information can get lost down the
Are
pipeline.
we talking about land voice going in the Joe? 'Cause in
I have
the
land
past-
voice on, I don't know, I might have skipped land voice. Land voice, because I wanted to talk about the dialers, but land voice is probably my favorite. That's my favorite. It's the most accurate. It's the most real, live, up to date. It's also the most expensive. It also doesn't have a dialer. You have to export the data.
Yeah,
So it's like a couple extra steps.
and they're more geo-targeted, right? I mean, you can actually go in zip codes or a certain.
Yeah, well, most of these can, like Vulcan,
Right.
Vulcan has like a likely to list or likely AI to list. Mojo has something similar, like most of them also have circle prospecting possibilities, you know what I mean? So that stuff does exist mostly within all of them. But even then, like if you were to, hit the wrong button. That versus a Magnus list, I'm gonna tell you the Magnus list, if you're circle prospecting is
Mhm.
gonna be more beneficial for you, because you're gonna kind of get everything. Why am I should keep my hand off my thing. Okay. So, on your guys's form, there are the links to their pricing, their websites, if that's something that you guys are interested. I am not soliciting any one of these. Okay. But there's like Archangel. I was reading about some other ones the other night. Okay, so I kind of like to Hold on. That's better. Okay. I like to like kind of rate things into some capacity. So Vulcan 7 Pros, when we're talking about these dialers, probably the best data overall. Extensive use of it. It's also the most expensive. Okay, Red X is overall the cheapest, so that's a pro. Oh, it should say the worst data overall, not the best. See, there's a reach. That was only 2 this presentation, people. Mojo has a triple and a single line dialer, but by far the worst data. That one's really, they just have a fraction of everything else, okay? Not saying there's not uses to them, just understand, okay? Now free, okay? This is probably one of my favorite because we forget about this. So MLS, you can pull your cancels, expireds, and physicals from your MLS every morning. Now, you're not guaranteed to have the information that you would need, like phone numbers and emails. You don't always get that. So again, that's when that skip tracer would be appropriate. Like forewarned is one, it's on there. That's the one I'm recommending. It's $20 a month. You have to have a background check. It's super secure. Like, so you go to log in, it sends you a text message every single time. Okay. They don't want anyone in. You can't give your stuff out. It's just, this is the best. And for $20 and for you can see criminal history, all the things like, so if you're like, hey, I'm meeting with a client, no,
Is that forewarned?
forewarn, FOREWARN, but that sheet that I gave you, sweetie, it's, you just scan it.
Okay.
Yeah, I made it like super easy, plug and play. Okay. Second one is right. Gonna go back down to that title list. So any of your good title agencies, most of them can pull these lists for you guys. So have them do that. They can pull specifically cancels and expired. Just understand that you're going to have them probably pull it quite a bit. But they can do that. So if you're like, maybe once a week, depending on your relationship with your title and escrow. But again, going back to speed to lead, right? Faster we get to them, the less likely they're to be tired being saturated by someone else. Okay. Referrals. If we don't ask, then we don't have anything. Okay. That's SOI, vendors, anywhere. Mark Norman in the other office, like he's a crazy bird to begin with, but we went to Vegas. He literally asked every single person while we were at family reunion. Okay. Door knocking. Huh? I just not done. But he did. We sat in an Uber. He's like, so have you thought about buying or selling? You know what I mean? Do you know anyone I should know? He just did such a great job. So, okay. And door knocking. Okay. Whether it's businesses, and we will talk about that as we get deeper into our courses over the next quarter, to your neighborhoods. Okay. For instance, Magnus can do the print for free, but I'm sure you've got there's other title companies that can do the same. Okay, as long as we're co-branding and we're making sure that we give the business back to them because we do not use them if we don't use them. Okay, those are all like free things, okay? This is all sweat equity, right? There's like 5 or 6 extra steps in a couple of them. There's some actually going out and doing the activity. It's not just being served on a silver platter, okay? But these are all things that we can jump at, okay? Questions? Okay. Pros and cons to this. I just picked my top 3. So door knocking, time and sweat to have the personal conversation. Just as Angel, you just said, super hot in the middle of June. Yeah. Ugh. So, I mean, honestly, we're like the only state where we can wear flip-flops and t-shirts and tank tops. And if you have sweat stains, it's acceptable because we all know, right? So, second, the title list. You may need to sort through the data, store it somewhere, okay, whether it's in your CRM or something like that. So you'll still need to have to contact manage that list somehow. It is a very extensive list, so there's a lot of data in there you might not need. I can guarantee that you won't need. And what you might need, another agent within their niche market might not need, or whatever. MLS, obviously free. Everything's being pulled from the MLS to begin with. But you're most likely going to have to skip trace to find those numbers. Okay. So again, just a few extra steps, but there we go. Okay, now to go back to FSBOs, our know-it-all seller, right? Because they know it all. Okay, hey, if you notice, this one looks just like the other one for the cancels and expireds, and that's because what we fundamentally have found is that when it comes to the paid sources, and they're actually pulling from Zillow quite a bit because it's probably the biggest place that FSBOs are listing their properties. They list them on MLS and Craigslist and all those things too, but it's just that's their main hub. So why are these the same? Because they all offer FSBOs as well. Okay. I'm not even going to spend more time on this slide. All right. Pros and cons, same thing. Okay. You're just, and by the way, I like that one. House for sale by owner because my neighbor's an asshole. We all know one.
Yeah.
If y'all could have seen what I saw.
Should have painted this side.
Right. Okay. So again, do your research. I gave you guys all the QR codes so that you guys can jump into that. If you guys have any special questions or like, hey, I decided to purchase it and I need help, let me know. Okay. There's one thing that's changed off of this one, but MLS, again, we can pull this list from MLS because owners do list on their title agency, can also pull FSBOs for you as well. Door knocking, right? If we can identify them by their signs or any one of those things, we can go door knock and do some of those. But my favorite, and we will jump into it a little bit, not in this one, but Zillow, right? If you guys did not know, it is not easy to find a FSBO on Zillow. Okay, so this is their main source for listing. And you have to go through like 4 to 5 steps to even find the FSBOs. They're so hidden. Okay. FSBOs don't even realize how not in the public eye they are. Okay. But the cool thing is as soon as it goes up, it's a public site. It's free. You can go, you can search, you can do it 5 times a day if you wanted to. And make sure that you're constantly up to date. Most of the FSBO appointments that are being set off Zillow, and they are being hit within the first X amount of minute, right? Five minutes or less to our response time. So anyways, so you can do that. Craigslist also, they'll post there. We've also seen them posting, there's a couple groups that are FSBO groups on Facebook. We've also seen them posting in the market center, and within specialized groups and stuff like that as well too. So there's a lot of different weird places that you can find them. Where can they like gather? And that's where you want to start looking. Okay. But those are all free. Didn't pay anything to everything I just listed off. Okay. All right. Pros and cons. Door knocking, again, time, sweat, and personal conversion. Title list. Have to sort through it. In MLS, you'll have to skip trace to find those numbers sometimes. I do find, and this one's weird when FSBOs register their number under the do not call registry, but they have their number listed. When you go onto Zillow, you will see it. It's small. You have to really look under the description. You'll see the FSBO's owner's name and number. MLS too, usually you can find it, but I have found sometimes it's been missing. So just have something that you can skip trace clients with. Okay. So our friendly neighbor, good target farm. Okay. We're gonna go into farming a little bit. I'll try to get through this a little fast for you guys today because we're a little bit smaller. Oh, I think I'm having some internet issues. It's not. Oh, see? Oh, are we just gonna jiggle the whole time? Should probably fix this slide. I guess we're moving, right? We're just like what's the wiggly guys at the, I'm tall, that doesn't help doing that. Okay, really. You can stop. No. Okay, we're gonna deal with the jiggling. Okay. Farming paid, right? Mailers, We can get the print for free, but it can cost anywhere from 150 to 250-ish with an average size farming neighborhood, which like I said was 8 to 1,000. Paid ads, we pay anywhere from 20 to 200. And again, this is to find, we just longer campaign, usually cheaper cost per lead. And events, there's a couple different ways that we can do events that can go anywhere from $10 to 500 or more, depending on the type of event. Okay, I will fix this slide because I think I might be having like all over the place. Okay, pros and cons. So mailers, they're easy to adjust to our mom, right? So if we have got a spring thing, if we have a coupon, if we have an event, if we have whatever's happening in our market, if we have their market stats, if we have, you know, a listing that we put up and all those things, right? It's easy to adjust those, okay? Because they're supposed to be sent out pretty consistently, which goes back to the con. It needs to be consistent. If it's not consistent, it dies off, right? And again, going back to Old McDonald's had a farm, okay? So paid ads can target socially. That's a huge pro to this because we think farming is just this one thing, but no, we have a lot of other reaches too. Con is it can get away from you pretty quick. So if we're not watching our analytics on our paid ads and we're not being intentional with how we're setting them up and understanding what we're doing, and we will jump into that, guys. It can get away from you and it can be pretty deflating. Okay. And again, inquiries versus leads. Events, it's probably the most positive interaction. Okay. Who doesn't like to go out and spend time? So when you get them in that interaction, it is welcoming. It's lovely. It's a great way to connect. So they're having, like, let's say our subdivision or our neighborhood, it doesn't even have to be in like an actual HOA subdivision necessarily, but our subdivision is having like a neighborhood garage sale, participate in it. Okay. Go and see everybody at the, you know, their garage sales and just kind of poke in and have a conversation, right? That's easy. It doesn't cost you anything. Okay. And you're connecting with your farm and they're welcome to have you there. Okay. It's what we're working so hard to have is less rejection, right? So, events can also sometimes be your most expensive, depending on the type of event. Okay. If you're getting a space, if you're sponsoring something, there's all kinds of your table, your materials, all those things. Okay. So, going back to MLS, it's like, it's a hub for everything. And going back to title lists, those two things keep coming up. Okay. So you can identify your niche market, you can identify your specific farming market, do all your research and stuff on there. And make sure that you're being intentional. Title list can pull all this, our title can pull all the lists. Door knocking and events. Okay, so events is on this one because there's a lot of things that you guys can do within the local area that doesn't have to cost you any money. Okay, sometimes it's just participating. Okay, sometimes it's actually being a vendor in the spot. If you can get that, that's always ideal. But sometimes we barter for things too. So remember that. So door knocking, time sweat, and it's like I keep telling you guys to actually go and do some activities. Niche. So obviously you get a niche, which is great because you can be intentional. But if you're not intentional, it just has to be. If not, then it's wasted. So events, you'll have to research. So that's a pro, right? Because it's so positive. But because it's free, you're going to have to research. You might even have to barter. And we've done that. We've bartered services or, you know, pieces or, whatever. There's lots of ways to do that. Just you need to know your community and have the conversations. Okay. Any questions about this one? Okay. Okay. Oh, that darn database. I don't like that. I feel like we all kind of hate it. Okay. So we pay $90 a month for our systems in general as a whole. So I put that up there. We could go into CRMs. If someone has a question specifically about that, I will, but as in my trainings, it'll be pretty command heavy just because it's all inclusive, right? So paid ads are cheaper with command and more, right? So it's like a huge thing. So, but it is something that you would have to pay for in addition to the $90 a month. designs, you can order print and signage and things like that from the back end, my KW and the designs and the marketing pieces or in the marketing section and training. You can order all your crazy fun training, events and things like that through there. Okay. So I say that because those all relate to being able to do the business. And they are paid pieces in command, but for free, we get smart plans, action plans, tasks, drip campaigns, things like that. That's all there for you. You guys need to let your system work for you to keep you in front. We have a direct website. Okay. You have your own agent page. It's linked directly to command too. So if something happens in there, what's going to happen? It's going to dump right straight into your CRM. That's very convenient. Okay. So it's a direct lead flow, and that goes for your paid ads as well, because it's all connected. Okay. Your command's connected to your Facebook, and if you've got your meta set up right with your Facebook and Instagram, it's all kind of connected there. And then we're connected to KW. So it's like a spaghetti brain. Okay. Going back to the referrals. We have a state-of-the-art referral networking program. Okay. Now I'm going to sidebar for 1 second. And I am going to show you real quick, because we will talk about referrals quite a bit. So I want to make sure that you guys are, if I can move my bar. Okay. Let's see. Right, this one's all in my way. Okay. So we can see my screen. Perfect. So if I go into command, okay, we've got these cool little mods, okay, on the left-hand side, okay. These are all different modules that allow you to do something different. So the 5th one down has like a little icon, right? Like the little target plot map thing with a person in it. It says referrals. Okay. So like I had said earlier, we have been tracking all of our referral flow, across all of our state lines to internationally and things like that. Okay. So we have dashboard, my referrals. Dashboard is everything. My referrals is the stuff you have. Your network would be things that people connected with. Map is where we want to go, which is the 3rd one in. Okay. There's a lot of options in here, people. Okay. So I don't play around with it. Have fun. Let me move this again. Okay. But if I were to go in here, and I'll just put Arizona to start with. Okay. So there's our beautiful state, right? And then you see there's this little green button right here, and it says production. Okay, that would be if we were looking for an agent, we would go on the right-hand side, just so you know. We would type agent's name in or city or something like that. It would pull everybody within those market centers over there. So you can always find an agent. You find market centers in your network. What we're looking for is referral patterns. Oh, it reset it. Oh, that one's not there. Okay. Let me put Phoenix just for the record. Okay. So we see this is what our patterning looks like. Okay. We got Massachusetts, Florida, Wisconsin, Kansas, Colorado, I mean, just Utah, so that's for Phoenix. If you go into Surprise and stuff like that, you can do some of our other towns and stuff like that. This is a great way to intentionally social market and other things. Okay. So when we talk about being out of state, right? me try another one. Right? Do you see how that changed? Now we're Oregon, Washington, San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego. This is Glendale. So, okay, let's try. It has Goodyear, but not Levine. I know that's kind of over. Right? So what do we have? We've got Massachusetts, we've got Florida, Wisconsin again, Kansas. And then we have a lot of local. So like Phoenix, there's a lot of people in Phoenix, and Surprise has a lot of people from Scottsdale moving over, right? So just really depends, right? So this is a good way to understand, like, how old is Command now? 3 years, 4 years?
4 years.
4 years, right? They've been tracking this for 4 years. I don't know if it goes beyond that. I know at least 4 years. Imagine what this would look like and really being able to hone in, right? So when we talk about us being a transplant city, this is a good example of how to look at that within some of your markets, okay? I just wanted to show you, we'll probably pull that up a couple more times as we navigate through some of this, okay? But does that help? Okay. Sorry, I'm like, it's not happy with me. I know we're gonna have to do double checks. It's never fun. Oh my, yeah. So you're like, you've been at it all day. Well, we're almost done. We'll wrap it up. Okay. All right, so now we know. We can also direct social, so post directly from command and manage. Okay, so we can post from our command and kind of manage some of that stuff within it. So it's kind of pretty cool that way. Okay, pros, cons of that. So smart plans, great. Like I said, tasks, action plans, drip campaigns and all that kind of stuff. But again, it's free, but you must ensure that everyone is on one. Okay, because if not, you're just loading your gun with all the bullets again. They're doing nothing. Calling. Okay, this is such a great, it has a good lead gen. They're beefing it up and keep doing it, but it's still your job to pick up the phone. I can't stress enough that we have all these other opportunities to lead gen and communicate, but picking up and having an actual conversation with a human is kind of still needed. Okay. Until we got robots up our rear, directing our brain cells, I would like to still think we can pick up a phone. And website. Beautiful. Like, it's so amazing that we have this website built into our CRM and we have that ability to use it for our database and redirect everybody there. But you guys need to build out value props and make it interactive. If not, it's just a standard template, and there's tons of classes. We will be offering some and bringing some other people in to do those things, or just ask and we'll find the resource for you guys. But we are in a digital market, a digital world. So therefore we need to make sure that it reflects as such. Okay. So for the last time that we have, because we're going to kind of just end it, and I'm going to actually end the Zoom meeting for you guys too. I would like you to kind of go into your database. And what do I have? 3, 4, 5, 15. Okay. If you guys come back next week with this, I do want to let you know. I like these things. So if you guys complete your activity sheet and turn it in that day or the next class, you'll get 5 tickets. Okay. And again, we'll have some gifts, so I'll to be determined what they are yet. And then 10 points or 10 tickets for attendance for every day after, and Zooming included. And then 20 points for inviting someone. Again, it could be in our office as well. But the more we have together, the better collaboration we tend to have. And it can be fun. It can be loud and all over the chains, huh, Bryce? But it's fun. Okay, any questions? And off we go.